Welcome to the first edition of the Indian Hill School District's Technology Update for the 1997-98 school year. I'm Robert Reed, Technology Facilitator for the Indian Hill Middle and High Schools, and your host for today's session. This is the second year of our production for our program, and we plan to continue providing you with up-to-date information on the state of technology in the Indian Hill Exempted Village School District. Our focus for this session is on a topic that received much attention last year, the Cyber Studio Initiative. This new program provided members of the community with an opportunity to explore various aspects of technology. It met with great success last year, and we hope to continue that success. And we have with us today Mrs. Arlene Legal, Technology Facilitator for the Indian Hill Middle and High Schools. Arlene has helped coordinate the selection of Cyber Studio offerings and has taught numerous sessions from buying a PC to introducing Microsoft PowerPoint. Arlene, welcome to our show. You've been heavily involved in this from the very beginning, from the point of instructing classes to helping coordinate. Perhaps you give us a little background on how Cyber Studio started.
Great. Well, actually, it's been a response to requests from community and students for quite some time. We, in fact, had a survey that occurred at the school about a year and a half ago with parents and community members, and they expressed a desire for us to be able to use the talent that we have here and the technology that we have here to open that up to students more and to the community. So that's how Cyber Studio got started, and we've had an outstanding response.
Well, last year's Cyber Studio sessions were very well received by the community members. Can you share some highlights about those?
Well, we had an overwhelming response. We were really excited by what we received as feedback. We had constant positive acknowledgments for what we were doing and requests for more. And I think as we go on in this program, you'll see we've responded to some of those requests. Some of the highlights were some of our classes. One of our most popular classes in the last year was Internet Basics. We constantly performed that class to full houses, and we always had requests for more and people on waiting lists. So we were repeating that again this year. We also had a class in the holiday time frame that we're repeating again this year. That was holiday cards and also mailing lists. That came from a group of parents in our instructional team meeting in the summer 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago. They asked us to put that together because they thought it'd be a great use of technology to be able to take their addresses and put them out with mailing labels and cut down their time on their technology or on their holiday greeting cards. And also we put together a program called Parents as Partners, where parents could come into the school and learn the tools that their students were using and maybe be able to help them as they got into technology-based projects.
Of course, we're obviously working on improving the program, and we've made some big changes over the summer. What were some of those changes and how did they affect this program?
Oh boy, we had a lot of changes this summer. We did a lot with our networks to secure them and to really open them up so we had more access to some of the later technologies. In the labs specifically, we upgraded the labs and allowed them to be upgraded to Windows 95. In fact, last year some of the comments that came to us was that Windows 95 was something that the parents really wanted to learn, and it was in keeping with the fact that a lot of technology is out there in our homes, in the community, in the district, and it's current, and we needed to maintain a level of currency as well. So one of our first things to do was to open an Introduction to Windows 95 class. In the labs also, we added powerful printers, high-speed printers, one color printer and one laser printer in each lab. So as we get into things like holiday cards, there'll be the capability for people to print those off and to use those and do what they need with the printing.
Well, good. Now, of course, we've had several Cyber Studio sessions already. Specifically, we've had intro to Windows 95 and also the introduction to the Internet. Now, since these have been completed, what other sessions do we have planned for the fall and winter?
Well, we have a full load over the next 2 months. We won't be doing any classes in December, but we changed our schedule a little bit so that we were doing more classes in the time frame that we had. Coming up in October, the week of October 20th, we have buying a computer, and we also have introduction to spreadsheets, as well as towards the end of that month we have Internet Beyond the Basics. The spreadsheet class was response to last year, and the buying a computer class is a repeat based on the request from people last year. As a personal favorite of mine, I get to do that with my dad. And then Internet Beyond the Basics is also a repeat, but that's to take those folks that have done some surfing on the net and they want to know how to really take advantage of their surf time. So that's what they'll be learning. Then in December, we'll be getting once again into the mailing lists and the holiday cards, introduction to PowerPoint, and introduction to Parents' Partner class with HyperStudio, which is another multimedia tool.
Okay. Of course, now we have to look beyond that. That takes us through the immediate first semester of school. But once we take that break around the winter holidays, what are some of the plans for the upcoming late winter and early spring?
Well, what we suspected last year and what we found was that Christmas is obviously a big buying time for technology. So starting in January, February, there's a lot of demand for some basic classes. So we'll probably be planning to repeat our Intro to Windows 95 classes, our Intro to Word and Internet Basics, those basic core classes. And then we'll be expanding on them as the spring continues.
Okay, it sounds like we really have a wide variety of selections from which our community members can select. Of course, very important thing is, how are they going to register for these?
Well, registration is actually a fairly simple process. We have a CyberStudio hotline, which is 272-4604. People call that. All they need to do is leave their name, spell out your last name, because sometimes I don't catch it when you say it on the phone. Give your address and your telephone number and the dates of the classes that you'd like to register for. Our classes that we have are evenings. They repeat during the week. They're only one evening classes. They run from 7 until 8:30, and they're located at the high school unless otherwise specified. We have a minimum class size of 5 students and a maximum of 20, but we will send out confirmation letters prior to the class if there's enough attendees enrolled prior to the start of the class. Anybody who's registered will receive that letter, or if we haven't had enough time to get the registration letter out, they will be confirmed by phone. It's also important to register because if there aren't enough attendees, we will have to cancel the class, and if you are registered, you'll get a phone call letting you know that that's happened.
Well, another aspect of our CyberStudio has to do with having access to technology tools. Now, this was accomplished by creating an open lab where the entire facility would be available for community members, students, to actually come in and use the equipment after they've had an opportunity to go through some of the classes. How does this really work, though? Can you give us a better explanation, perhaps?
Great. Open Labs are even easier than the CyberStudio classes because Open Labs you don't have to register for. Basically, it's a first come, first served basis. Open Labs this year, we've shortened them down to just Wednesday evenings from 6 until 8:30 every Wednesday, except if there's a school closing or a school emergency or holidays. But basically, we'll have a technology facilitator in there managing the lab. People will have the ability to come in and work with whatever tools that we have available to them on the network. That could be internet, that could be anything else. Like our CyberStudio classes, this is free to the public, free to all Indian Hill residents, and they're more than welcome to come in at any time. We will also have tutorials loaded on the network so that they can use those tutorials and learn some more about the products and the tools that are there independently. They can also surf the net, and they can do that at their own leisure. So.
Well, we've already had a number of people who've been taking advantage of that at this particular time. So, but I'd like to thank you for participating in our session today. CyberStudio is certainly a project that has a lot of merit, with technology playing such an increasing role in our lives. It certainly allows our community residents to gather some skills to help in that. Before we leave today, I would just like to repeat the CyberStudio schedule, which appears on your screen. All Indian Hill School District community members may participate in these programs free of charge, and non-district people may do so on a limited basis, which is fee-based. This is something new for this particular year. But don't worry. However, if you miss the information, this presentation will be repeated throughout the next week, and information will be distributed through all the current school publications. Now, due to the popularity of our courses, please contact the district at 272-4604, the phone number that's now appearing on your screen. Leave your name, correct spelling of your name, address, phone number, course requested, and preferred date. Confirmation letters, of course, will be sent 1 week prior to each class, as Mrs. Leibovich indicated earlier. Classes are subject to cancellation, but you will be contacted if this situation arises. If you like our Technology Update program, be sure to look for future presentations. Each month, a new technology-related topic will be presented on some current aspect of educational technology in the Indian Hill Exempted Village School District. All of our video productions are coordinated by Mr. Dennis Stupps, 6 through 12 technology facilitator and high school technology teacher. His video technology class and technology club students provide the technical staffing for the production of these programs. So look for all the other Indian Hill School District video productions of sports and musical performances on your cable access channels throughout the school year. This concludes our first 97-98 edition of the Indian Hill Schools Technology Update. Special thanks to all our staff and students on both sides of the camera for making this presentation possible. See you next time and have a great day. We got through that.